Hey everybody, welcome back once again. Today's January 8th of 2020. Pretty interesting news story today, topping the headlines. A plane from Tehran, Iran, that was on its way to Kiev, Ukraine, has crashed, reportedly killing 176 people on board with no survivors. The timing of this crash is very suspect, considering that Iran, again, the nation where this plane crashed, had just fired missiles at U.S. military bases in Iraq just a day prior. So a lot of people are speculating maybe there's a little bit something more to this plane crash, and I would agree, but I would say that it's actually a lot more than what people are even suspecting. This numeric ritual goes way back, at least a year, if not more, and kind of goes along with what we're saying, that this entire war between U.S. and Iran, this conflict that's been escalating lately, is a stage show, one that we just hope that nobody's really getting hurt during. But here we are now, seeing a plane crash with a lot of people dying. So let's talk about the numerology of this incident. And when we're looking at numerology, we can never ignore the language of Gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words. The English ordinal cipher is the most basic. It numbers the alphabet 1 through 26, each letter relative to its position. Today's date is January 8th, written 1/08. This plane has crashed in the city of Tehran, Iran, which sums to 108 in the standard alphabetic order, just like today's date. Today's primary date numerology is 1 plus 8 plus 20 plus 20. This gives us the number 49, the first day of the year 2020 to have numerology of 49. The word crash sums to 49 in ordinal and 22 in reduction. Again, today the first day with 49 numerology in the year 2020. The plane that went down is flight number PS752. Notice how this has the same gematria as the word crash, 49 and 22. Although the crash occurred in Iran, the plane itself was operated by Ukraine International Airlines. So the flight was heading from Tehran to Kiev. Using the reverse alphabetic order, where Z is assigned 1, Y gets 2, all the way through A as 26. Tehran to Kiev equals 176. We're being told that 176 people were on board this airplane. 176 is the gematria also of Donald J. Trump, who just happens to be the most hated man in Iran at the moment. Now, Donald Trump has some interesting numerology lining up this week. Trump was born in the year 1946, the same date as a full moon, and actually even a total lunar eclipse. So his birthday fell during lunation 290. This year, the first full moon is part of lunation 1200, which means this will be the 911th full moon since the birth of Donald Trump. And of course, 9/11, well, we should know what this number symbolizes. The date 9/11 saw the worst series of plane crashes in the history of the world back in 2001, when 2 of them struck the World Trade Center and a third allegedly striking the Pentagon. And 9/11 is a number we've seen coded around plane crashes ever since, and here we're about to find something pretty significant. In order to understand this, we're going to talk about Donald Trump's first U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, who, the reason that first of all, her numerology lines up really well with Donald Trump. Consider how her birthday is on January 20th of 1972, meaning that when Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 45th president of the United States, she turned exactly 45 years old. Her real name is Nimrata Haley, which sums to 197 in the reverse alphabetic order. 197 is the 45th prime number. Nikki Haley, before becoming the ambassador, was the 116th governor of South Carolina. Well, the number 116 is essentially just the number 911 flipped upside down. Since leaving her role as the ambassador to the UN on the final day of 2018, she has since taken up a new role. In February of 2019, it was announced that Haley had been nominated to the board of directors of Boeing. It just so happens that a Boeing plane crashed today in Tehran, Iran. Well, look at the date that she was nominated, February 26th of 2019. If you measure from the 9/11 attacks in 2001 to February 26th of 2019, you get exactly 911 weeks. Well, that's pretty strange, but then consider that she was elected to the board on April 29th, later that same year. April 29th is the 119th day of the year. In Gematria, Boeing Board of Directors, which she now sits on, sums to 116 in the standard reduction method. This cipher uses the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit prior to adding it to the equation. Finally, if you measure from her birthday to the date of today's crash, you get another familiar number, 11 months, 19 days. However, if you instead measure from the date that she became that she sat on the board of directors for Boeing, you get 254 days. And that's significant because 9/11 is the 254th day of the year. Next, I want to touch on what I believe is an eclipse riddle in this story. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you're no stranger to the fact that there are massive eclipse riddles being played out through the numbers in the news. I want to point out how in Jewish or Latin Gematria, the most significant cipher outside of the base 4 that I teach, the phrase airplane crash sums to 398 in Jewish Gematria. This is the same as eclipse sacrifice, 398. Now, Nikki Haley used to be the governor of South Carolina. And back in 2017, we had the Great American Total Solar Eclipse, which was last seen in the state of South Carolina. In the language of Gematria, South Carolina sums to 156 and 57 in reduction. These are the same numbers as the Hebrew value of the word eclipse. The 156 is significant because eclipses always occur either 1, 5, or 6 lunar phases after the most recent one. Today's plane crash falls exactly 6 months and 6 days after the most recent total solar eclipse. 66 is, of course, 11 times 6, and if we measure to the next total solar eclipse, we get 11 months and 6 days. This plane crash occurred in Tehran, which equals 66 in the alphabetic order. which is in the nation of Iran, which sums to 66 in reverse. The 66th prime number, well, I'm getting a server error, but you can take my word for it. The 66th prime number is 317. And if you measure from the date that Nikki Haley was nominated to the board of directors for Boeing to the date of the crash, it was 317 days. Next, I want to glance at the age of Boeing, which was founded on July 15th of 1916, meaning that on today's date, they have a 97 at the end of their age. And this is significant because the phrase plane crash sums to 97 in the standard alphabetic order. The nation of Iran celebrates its national holiday on April 1st, the date on which they became an Islamic Republic in the year 1979. Well, today is 9 months, 7 days after their national holiday. Nikki Haley's birth name sums to 97 in reverse. Finally, I want to point out how this plane was operated by Ukraine International Airlines. They were founded on the date August 24th, meaning that today's crash falls a span of 138 days. Well, actually, August 24th is Ukraine's national holiday. So this crash is 138 days later, and the plane was operated by Ukraine International Airlines, which sums to 138 in reduction. This also, by the way, the ordinal value of Donald Trump. The company was founded on October 1st of 1992, which means they're exactly 1,423 weeks old. Once again, this ritual having to do with the Boeing Board of Directors, which sums to 224. The 224th prime number is 1423. Again, the exact age of the airline which operated the plane that crashed today. Forgot to show this. 1423, the 224th prime, connecting us back to Boeing Board of Directors. So I feel like this was a pretty solid decode. We barely even used the reverse ciphers. Maybe I shouldn't say that. We did lead off with them a little bit, but certainly the date significant to Tehran, Iran, the date significant to plane crashes, the number of those killed, significant to the route. But really, this whole thing with Nikki Haley is, I think, points to the clearest riddle involved that should tell us what this really is, which is really anything but what we're told. Thanks for jumping in, everybody. That's going to do it for this video. Back to work for me. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya!